Welcome to the England Rugby Pod. Thanks for downloading episode 48. The England squad has been announced for the autumn internationals, and we're bringing you our reaction to the decisions that Eddie Jones has made. You're listening to the England Rugby Pod, the rugby podcast that believes England will win the World Cup in 2019. Hi guys, as promised, the squad for the autumn internationals has been announced, so we're going to chuck out another episode now. Plan is not for it to be too long, but we shall see how detailed we get when we're going over it. I'm joined by Dan, of course. Hi, mate.
Hi, Andy. What are your thoughts?
Initial reaction was probably no major surprises, I think. But then we'll go through it, and I'm sure we will find things that perhaps we disagree with, and of course, plenty that we do agree with. So I think what best place to start is probably let's start with the forwards, so we can spend a bit more time on the backs, afterwards. Obviously, the big kind of scalp, if you like, is James Haskell being left out.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big scale. I don't think that's a surprise. We crack on about this all the time. We're both big Haskell fans, but the reality is he didn't deserve to be in this squad. I mean, he hasn't had a great season, and yeah, I mean he's not really been performing. It's not the end of the road for him by any means, but I wasn't surprised he was left out. My massive surprise, I can't believe Don Armand's not in the squad. I think he's been the best back row in England this season.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people on Twitter actually getting in touch asking, what more does he need to do?
I'm amazed.
The answer is I don't know. It's an interesting one. I don't really get it. I can only, if we're going to try and come up with some reason for it, I can only think that it must be. Well, I haven't got anything. I've got nothing.
Yeah, I've got nothing because he can cover both back row. As in, he can cover 6 and 7. I mean, he wouldn't be looked at as an 8. If worst case scenario, he could sort of pack down there, but that's not at all what he'd be looked at for. I don't really get it. I'm a little bit surprised by a few of it. So I'm really glad to see Sam Underhill in there.
Yeah.
Looking from a back row perspective. Yeah. Tom Curry, I'm a little surprised at. I mean, Ben Curry's been making more of the headlines for Sale this year. Whether he sees Tom as, although they both can play 6 and 7, from memory, I think Tom is considered more of a 7 and Ben more of a 6. Whether that comes into the factor, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's stuck with Tom Curry, hasn't he? He took Tom to Argentina, so he's sticking with him. I hear what you're saying, because I think we looked at the stats before, didn't we? And it's I think Tom's only started 2 games this season. Is that right?
So Tom's for Sale. Tom's only started 2 games this season, whereas Ben has started 6.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that one it's got to be a 6 versus 7, surely. And Tom, they probably both suit Eddie Jones's style, but right now, he has a place for a 7 in Tom Curry, but perhaps not a 6 in Ben at the moment, because of course he's got there's various other players in there. He's got Sam Simmons, who I'm guessing he's looking at as a 6. Obviously Chris Robshaw.
I'm guessing he must be looking at Sam Simmons as an 8, right? Well, it has to be.
Oh yes. Well, yeah. No, sorry. What am I talking about? 6. Yes, he's looking at him as an 8. What I meant to say is he has talked about Sam Simmons before, and he has. This is Eddie Jones, and he said that he doesn't see him as an 8.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess he's in such good form at the moment. He must be kind of sending a message to Eddie Jones that, hang on, look, I'm playing 8 for my club. I'm in great form, playing 8. That's where you got to consider me. And you're right, with Billy out injured, Nathan Hughes obviously is stepping up to fill that gap as the front man, and therefore, you need someone to back him up. And we don't want to be relying on people who don't comfortably play in those positions. So you're right, yes. So Sam Simmons is an 8. So maybe, I don't know.
Well, I guess the other thing is you've got sort of Laws, Atoje, who can sort of fit in at 6 fairly easily if needs be, can't you? So you're not short of cover there if you need.
So we think Tom Curry's a 7, do we? This is going to get us in trouble, don't you?
Yeah, of course it's going to get us in trouble. Yeah, but no, Tom Curry, I think is more naturally a 7. I mean, they're both sort of normally back row, so I think. Yeah, so I'd say obviously you've got Sam Underhill as your 7, and I'd say Tom Curry's your other more specialist 7, which is why he's probably picked ahead of Ben. This is me speculating.
Yeah.
Tom and Ben can both play both back row, but I know Tom is typically a 7, Ben is typically a 6.
Right. Okay. Well,
we made that hard work, didn't we?
We did make that hard work. Let's move on. So in the second row, usual suspects. Marrow, Joe Launchbury's in there, Courtney Laws is in there.
Awesome foursome, plus a Sekwe and Yules.
So yes, obviously no. George Cruz is also included. So yeah, they've got a massive second row contingent, haven't they? The awesome foursome and, as you say, Sekwe and Yules. 6 seems like quite a lot. I don't know. That's it. How many did they take on the Lions tour? It was only about 7.
No, I think it was 5 on the Lions tour, wasn't it?
Was it?
Because we kicked up blue murder about Launchbury not being there. So 6 is a lot, but we have heard. Don't forget, we have heard that. And the exact phrase is, "There's a plan for him with regards to Atoje." So whether Atoje will even play,
I wonder whether Marrow will be used for the Australia game, because that's a big one. Eddie wants to win. Let's be honest. Eddie Jones never wants to play Australia and not win. So I'd be very surprised if he doesn't want to put out a full strength side against Australia in order to ensure that we get the win. But I wonder if he rests him for the other 2 games, because let's be honest, Marrow Atoje is not being tested to see if he's good enough to play for England. No,
God no. And he's played a lot of rugby.
Yeah, he has. He played. I think I read somewhere he's played something like 602 out of 620 minutes this season, or something ridiculous like that.
I was going to quote that exact same stat. My numbers were going to be slightly different, but around the same.
Oh no, mine was a guess. That was an estimate? That's just.
I was going to say I thought he played 602 out of 640. But either way, he's played pretty much a full season of rugby.
He's
plus
a big shift.
And full off season.
And the Lions tour, of course.
Exactly. Off season meaning Lions, So I think at some point they will be looking. Yeah, he's a young lad, and he's a fine specimen of a man. But they have said there's a plan for him. So whether he'll look to be playing that much. Cruz has had a bit of injury. I mean, Launchbury's played a fair bit of rugby, maybe looking to rest him a bit as well. So's Courtney Laws. So maybe that's the reason for so many second row, because
they want to change things up. Well, we've kind of always said, haven't we, that there's that Marrow Atoje is kind of in our opinion, Courtney Laws is in as well, and that Cruz and Launchbury need to fight it out for the other spot. But
the way Laws has been playing this season, it's hard to miss out. He's been absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, so there's, I guess Eddie's probably having the same dilemma as us. He's struggling to work out exactly how he wants that to work, and so I guess that would make sense. You've got to take them all, and you've got to give them a chance, because as he keeps on saying, this is all about 2019. It's all about building to this World Cup, and so I guess if you've got questions, then there are only so many opportunities that you have to test them in kind of match day, in a match day environment. So you've got to get it right, and the sooner you do it, the better, because of course the closer we get to that World Cup, the more kind of cohesive we want this side to be. So I think that's probably now we're talking about it, I think that's probably the right move to have the numbers there.
I think so, yeah. I like the fact, going back to the back row, I like the fact that, albeit as an apprentice player, I do like the fact Zach Mercer's included. I think the guy's such a talent.
Well, yeah, Zach Mercer and Marcus Smith both included as apprentice players. Eddie Jones has said they will not be involved in any match day 23s. They're just going purely for the experience. I quite like that, given the way that we're, the way that he's looking towards the World Cup. I quite like the idea of giving them the experience. But then part of me also feels like if you're committing to not using them, why include them in the squad? Why not take them just take them along? But have they earned the right to? I don't know. In some way, it's a bit weird to sort of say they're squad members, but I'm already caveating that they will not be involved. Do you know what I mean?
But the thing with Eddie is, I don't know if I 100% believe that. I think if they need to be involved, they will be involved. Eddie likes to put his surprises out there. Yeah, I'm up and down. I kind of get what you mean. It's kind of like, do you know what? If Zach Merson's not going to be involved, why not Don Armand? Why not see what he can do?
Well, exactly.
Why not have him there?
Well, and I think the thing is, you announce a squad of 42 or whatever the number is here, and that means a lot to the guys that get selected, because there are guys who aren't included, like James Haskell. You're clearly not all going to be involved on the match day, but you want to feel like you're an important part of the process. So, and also you want to feel like Eddie Jones has always said the opportunities are there; they're there to be taken. So to come out and say, I'm taking these guys, I'm calling them apprentice players, and I'm committing to not playing them, it almost feels like you're saying, I don't know, they're not really part of the squad. They're almost part of the training staff, or because do you know what I mean? It's a bit funny. I don't know. I just think they're two guys that will get their opportunity. They will earn their opportunities. But I think they should be. Either I think he should have not said anything. He shouldn't have called them apprentice players, and he shouldn't have said, "I'm not going to involve them." Or he should have said, "You've been at a few training camps. You've done this. You've done that. We're not going to go with you for now, but we are still watching you, so keep getting better."
The thing I like, and I don't know the two characters from Adam, like they could be the most humble, down to earth guys. The thing I like about it almost is a sort of Eddie Jones saying, "Yeah, look, you guys could be great, but you're not an England player yet. Yeah, you're involved in the squad because there's potential, but you're still got to earn that." I mean, there's a part of me that does almost like that sort of apprenticeship grounding. It sort of reminds me of the old school, before football became a complete arsehole game. So it reminds me of the old school sort of football where, even if like a young player got a first England cap or something, he still had to go and clean the boots of the senior players at his club come the Monday or something. So there's that bit of it that I almost quite like.
Is that not the whole thing though? You're not an England player yet, and yet we're giving you the honour of being included in this squad amongst all these other guys who are, in some cases, world-class players.
Under the caveat. So it's almost like Eddie Jones saying, like, you guys, you guys don't go away suddenly giving it all the I'm in the England squad, because people can turn around and be like, yeah, mate, you're an apprentice.
Yeah. No, fair enough. It's it'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on, and we'll see how that progresses. Because, like you say, you never really know how Eddie Jones is thinking, and perhaps he has more up his sleeve with them in mind than we're aware of. So, kind of moving on, front row, we won't dwell on it for too long because we don't know enough about it. But and obviously, we're planning to get some expert knowledge to come and support our theories on that. But great to see Ellis Genge in there.
Had
a great tour down in
really well. I like Ellis Genge.
Yeah, great tour down in Argentina, and he's playing brilliantly at the moment. Really aggressive, which is good to see. Dylan obviously safe from his sighting. He managed to, what the word is, convince them that he was not at fault, or prove that he wasn't at fault, or
I think we'll stick with prove for now.
Well, it's Dylan. Anyway, so he's obviously there, and although it doesn't say it, I'm assuming he's captain.
I haven't heard otherwise, so I'd imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine another scenario like you alluded to a few weeks back. We surely would have heard by now had Eddie Jones had another captain in mind, but you just never know with Eddie. He's a cheeky little one.
He is okay. Moving on to the backs, then this is perhaps where we can get a little bit more stuck in. And right off the bat, what the hell's Mike Brown doing?
He's back fit again. I was a little disappointed in the backs, actually.
Yeah, for me, Mike Brown, Elliot Daly, is not in form at the moment. I don't think
he's not, but I get why he's still there.
Jonathan Joseph is out of form. I think you need to give a few of these guys a kick up the arse, and I think this would have been a good opportunity to have done that.
Yeah, Piers Francis. I don't know why he's involved. He's barely played,
and he was average in Argentina.
I don't understand what he adds that we don't get via Farrell, Lazowski. Anyway, I don't see. So I would like to have seen Henry Trinder in there.
Yeah, well, why is he not there? He's another one a little bit like Don Armand. What more does he need to do?
Yeah, I'm
a
little
feel
disappointed.
There's definitely a handful actually that feel. Eddie Jones has always said that he's not about cliques, and it's not. There's no favoritism, and it's everything is done on merit, and goes on and on about all this stuff. Perhaps unlike England teams of the past, but it does feel a little bit like there's one or two that have been selected simply because
living off past glories.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, good to see Johnny May back in the fold, and rightly so.
He has to play, man. He has to. He's just on fire.
Yeah, so
I'll be really disappointed if he doesn't start.
I'm sure he will. Denny Solomona, obviously, there was lots of question marks. Or is he going to be punished for his incident with Manu? The last training session when he was sent home, and clearly the answer is no. not overly surprisingly, he's back involved. So that's great.
And he's done okay this season. But if you're looking at it purely from form, and I know people are going to throw defence at me, if you're looking at it purely from form, you've got to pick Rocker Daguni.
Defence, mate.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that bit.
No, but, I mean, I 100%. This is what I've always said, though, isn't it? Is it's all well and good. World class wingers are supposed to score tries. That's what they do. They're very fast and they score tries. That part of their game is kind of a given. I think if you're a winger who's not scoring tries, you're not really a winger, and you're not doing your job. It's about everything else. It's about being able to have that complete game. And Rocker Daguni, for me, doesn't have it. He relies on being put in space. I think his defence, the weakness of his defence is overstated. I don't think it's that poor. And positionally, I know people say he gets caught out, but it's not a major one, because I think we're on the wing side. It's not as if we're sort of fighting tooth and nail. We've got Watson, we've got Daly, we've got May, Solomona. It's not, tragic. Was Christian Wade involved in this squad? Oh no, that's a surprise. I thought he may have made it. But we've got strong wings, so it's not the end of the world. But Rocker Daguni has proven himself, and his defence hasn't necessarily been caught out as such this season. I say that maybe it has, but I've said this in past episodes. Right, Rocker Daguni is one of those guys where when he's having moments of magic, you know all about it. Yeah, you kind of see him everywhere, and he's scoring for fun. When he's not having moments of magic, you forget that he's even on the pitch. Like he's one extreme or the other. He doesn't seem to be the kind of Whereas what we want, you look at an Anthony Watson or even a Johnny May, you just feel like you just know he's there all the time. Even when he's just scoring for fun out on the wing, you still seem to. It feels like you're very aware of him on the pitch, and I just don't get that from Rocker Daguni. I just feel like he's either scoring tries or is he playing? I'm not sure. Is he on, and so he doesn't seem to be involved enough in all the other aspects of the game. And I think when you take that step up to international level, I think that would be identified and he'd be opened up. So I'm not convinced.
I get it. My only concern with this England squad is that, like we said, I think there's a few people who are there based on reputation.
Yeah.
I know Eddie has no hassle sort of cutting people if it's done, but I think there was a part of me that wanted to see perhaps seen a Joseph miss out to a Trinder. I love Joseph, and I think he needs to be involved come sort of the Six Nations 2019 World Cup. But there were a few players where I thought, do you know what, maybe you do need a bit of a kick up the arse. But like Piers Francis, I'm surprised by his inclusion. I really am. I don't really understand what he's going to add. Mike Brown, I fear to say that I'm pretty sure we'll be starting at fullback.
Oh, definitely.
Which is a shame because I'd like to have seen that.
Just mix it up
change.
A bit.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan Joseph should have been dropped on form. Simple as that. I think, it's not that I think he needs to be included in, for the Six Nations or the World Cup or any of that. I think we've seen in the past he has the ability to be good enough to be included, but I think that's up to him to go and find that form. He's, I don't know. It just feels like a bit of a soft selection. But like we've said, there's 42 odd guys here. Only 23 of them are involved in the match day teams, and we may find that a lot of the big names, that we're talking about now, are the ones that are actually rested, and that they're there more to give the other guys the experience. And actually, he is sticking to his word, Eddie, and he is treating this as an extension of the summer tour. Because it is Argentina again. So he may well be thinking, let's put out another kind of young, inexperienced side and give them another shot, but at home this time, and see where we are, and look maybe at Australia as the game where he looks to put together a slightly more cohesive side.
It's true. I think this squad's probably only half the story, because I think there are sort of plans in place for some of these players where we may not see, like you say, against Argentina, certainly we may not see the strongest 15 take the pitch outright, because there may be, like you say, perhaps an Itoje, perhaps a Farrell, perhaps whoever may be rested for that first game and save them for Australia.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think Eddie Jones has got to look at Argentina and say, we played them with a third string side and we beat them 2-0 in Argentina, and they had their first team on the pitch. Do I need a first string England side to beat them? Hopefully not. And in order, therefore, to give everyone a chance and to try and maintain a record, it would work. It would work to play a slightly lesser side against them, and it's not to be disrespectful to them, but it's obviously, we sent a side to Argentina who didn't have a lot of experience and achieved huge things. So, I think in some ways it's nice to give a lot of those guys another chance to do a bit more of the same, to give some of the more senior guys a bit more of a rest, and to gear ourselves up for Australia, which of course is the massive one, which I think up until last weekend we probably would have said felt a little bit like a pretty safe bet, but of course, with that win against New Zealand, it's all a bit more interesting now.
It'd be interesting to see how Australia come across, although I believe Israel Folau has been rested. I don't think they're bringing him. I think he's having a sort of sabbatical as such, sort of rest of body, sort of missing a quality player there, but they'll still come with a great team. That'll be a tough game. That will be a tough game, no doubt.
Absolutely. Well, I think that probably covers most of this, doesn't it? I mean, I don't think there's anything that we've missed out, and I think until we know what the actual match day 2023 is going to look like,
that's when it will be interesting.
And that's going to give us a better idea of exactly what he's thinking. I mean, Eddie Jones has said that he wants to approach all of these games now, with a view to the World Cup. In other words, Argentina's a fairly straightforward one, because it's like for like. It's not even like for like. It's the same team. He can go into that game and treat it like a World Cup match. So I guess that contradicts what we were just saying about playing an under-strength side slightly. But then he's taking an under-strength squad. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. It's all well and good saying we're going to treat this, our game plan and everything else is going to be treated like it's a World Cup match. But I guess tactically you can approach it regardless of the team you're putting out. So if he's true to form, or if he's if that's what they do, it'll be interesting to see the sort of game plan that they have, the sort of approach that they have. Because I'd also be surprised if he wants to give away the plan this early on, or at all before the actual game itself. So,
no, for sure. And there is, I mean, things may change. There's a round of Premiership matches this weekend. There's sort of odds will say that there's bound to be maybe a knock or so that may change, sort of change the dynamics of that squad. But yeah, I mean, overall, if I'm honest, I'm a little underwhelmed, but I have 100% faith in Eddie. So, I guess we see what materialises over the next few weeks.
Absolutely. Let's do that. We will keep an eye on things. I'm guessing that the Argentina game is on the 11th. So that's obviously Saturday. So the 9th is probably going to be 8th, 9th will probably be the matchday squad announcement. So we'll obviously, I think Dan and I are actually both at that game. So we won't be bringing you the usual kind of live coverage or semi-live coverage because one, we won't have the opportunity being at Twickenham. Two, we'll probably be too pissed. But we will obviously we will obviously cover the game probably on Sunday. And just to talk about the experience that we've just had, and we'll discuss that game. But we'll bring you some sort of a preview once the squad's been announced, so we can discuss that. So we've probably got another 1 or 2 episodes to fit in between now and then. Premiership, as Dan mentioned, kicks back off again this weekend, so we'll look at that, and obviously, as you say, if there's any changes to this squad based on form / injuries. We will obviously /sightings. We'll obviously discuss those. But guys, thanks for listening. I know it's 2 in 1 week, but we had left you hanging for a couple of weeks. So I hope you enjoy it. Get in touch. Let us know if you have any differing opinions to us. Let us know if you agree, but more importantly, if you disagree. We can discuss that in the next episode. And of course, please continue to listen, continue to tune in, continue to subscribe. Rate us, review us, all the usual, all the same. It's all on iTunes. Get in touch with us on Twitter at England Rugby Pod. The website's got all sorts of information on it, www.englandrugbypod.com, or you can email us, englandrugbypod@gmail.com. But that's about it for me.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks very much for listening, guys.
Cheers, guys. Take care.